Breaking news: U.S. destroyer challenges Chinese blockade at Scarborough Shoal. Beijing condemns provocative U.S. naval action. Tensions spike in South China Sea. In the turquoise waters west of the Philippines, a high-stakes drama was unfolding. Two global powers faced off in a tense maritime standoff. One wrong move could spark a crisis. The USS John Finn, a U.S. Navy destroyer, cut through the dawn. Its mission clear assert freedom of navigation in contested waters. Its presence directly challenged China's sweeping claims over the South China Sea. Every sailor was on edge, aware they were on a geopolitical fault line. On the horizon, Chinese Coast Guard and Navy ships formed a cordon around Scarborough Shoal, signaling the U.S. ship would not pass unchallenged. Both sides had tracked each other for hours. This was a calculated, choreographed encounter. The world watched as commanders on both sides tried to uphold national interests without firing a shot. The only sounds: engines humming, radar beeping, and the tension in the air. The dawn of November 17, 2025, marked not just a new day, but a new, perilous chapter in the South China Sea saga. The fragile calm on the water masked the gravity of the moment. Scarborough Shoal, a remote reef, had become the epicenter of a global power struggle. The stakes: control of vital sea lanes, national pride, and the balance of power in Asia. The world held its breath. As the USS John Finn neared the 12 nautical mile limit, the radio crackled. "American warship, this is the China Coast Guard. You are approaching Chinese territorial waters. Change course immediately." The U.S. captain replied, "China Coast Guard, this is United States Navy warship. I am conducting lawful operations in international waters. I will maintain my present course and speed." The real contest was in the maneuvers. Chinese ships moved to block the John Finn, attempting a dangerous shouldering tactic. The American destroyer held its course, making only minor adjustments to avoid collision. The ships passed within breathtakingly close range. Crews could see each other across the water. For over an hour, Chinese vessels shadowed the John Finn, issuing repeated, escalating warnings. "American warship, your actions are provocative. You must leave immediately." The U.S. response was unwavering. "We are operating under international law." A Chinese frigate sailed parallel, weapons visible, a silent show of force. No shots were fired, no ships collided, but the message was clear. Both sides were willing to push the limits. The John Finn completed its transit, turning back to open sea. The U.S. had demonstrated its commitment to freedom of navigation. China, its resolve to defend its claims. The encounter was a chilling reminder of how close the world is to a miscalculation. One wrong move could trigger a conflict with global consequences. The standoff ended, but the tension remained. The South China Sea had become a powder keg. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade. 1/3 of all shipping, worth over $3 trillion annually, passes through. Disruption here would send shockwaves through the world economy. Beneath the waves lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas, making the region a prize for energy-hungry nations. It's also a crucial fishing ground, feeding millions across Southeast Asia. For China, control means strategic depth and power projection. For the US and allies, it's about upholding freedom of navigation. China's artificial islands, bristling with military hardware, extend its reach deep into the Pacific. The US Navy's presence is a direct challenge to Beijing's ambitions. Whoever controls these waters shapes the future of Asia. That's why the world cares. Scarborough Shoal, tiny, uninhabited, but fiercely contested. Just 120 nautical miles from the Philippines, it's a strategic outpost and rich fishing ground. The 2012 standoff began when the Philippines tried to arrest Chinese fishermen. China responded with a blockade. The U.S. brokered a withdrawal, but only the Philippines complied. China stayed, seizing control. Filipino fishermen lost access, livelihoods shattered by Chinese Coast Guard patrols. The shoal became a symbol of China's willingness to use maritime power against smaller neighbors. Manila protested, but China's blockade remains. The U.S., bound by treaty to defend the Philippines, raised the stakes. Scarborough Shoal is now a potential flashpoint between nuclear powers. A remote reef, but a global risk. China's sweeping claim, the 9-dash line, covers 90% of the South China Sea, overlapping with other nations' exclusive economic zones. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China at an international tribunal under UNCLOS. China refused to participate, insisting its claims were indisputable. In 2016, the tribunal ruled overwhelmingly for the Philippines. China's historic rights have no legal basis. The ruling declared Scarborough Shoal a rock, not entitled to its own economic zone. China rejected the verdict, continued its military buildup, and ignored the legal outcome. The ruling has no enforcement mechanism, but it's a powerful diplomatic tool for the US and its allies. For China, defiance is about sovereignty and resisting Western pressure. The legal battle continues, shaping the global debate. The US and China pursue starkly different naval strategies. The US relies on forward presence, alliances, and freedom of navigation operations to challenge excessive claims. Its advanced carriers and destroyers regularly patrol the region, signaling resolve with allies. China's approach is anti-access and area denial, A2AD, using missiles, submarines, and a vast maritime militia to make US operations risky. The carrier killer DF-21D missile is designed to keep US ships at bay. China's maritime militia, state-backed fishing vessels, harass and blockade without open conflict. This layered strategy gives China a home field advantage, gradually pushing the US further out. The contest is as much about technology and tactics as territory. The South China Sea is now a chessboard of modern naval power. For local fishermen, the South China Sea conflict is personal. Filipino fishermen once relied on Scarborough Shoal's rich lagoon, until China's blockade drove them away. Harassed by water cannons and patrols, many lost their livelihoods and fell into debt. Vietnamese fishermen face similar dangers near the Paracels and Spratlys, boats rammed, crews detained. These aren't just economic losses, they're attacks on a way of life and national pride. Fishermen are seen as frontline defenders, risking everything to assert their rights. Their struggles put a human face on the geopolitical clash. For Manila and Hanoi, their stories rally support at home and abroad. The fight isn't just about warships, it's about ordinary people's survival. The human cost is real and growing. The South China Sea conflict is also a war of words and images. The US frames its actions as defending a free and open Indo-Pacific, upholding international law. China counters with themes of sovereignty and resistance to foreign interference, portraying itself as the aggrieved party. Each incident sparks a flood of press releases, videos, and social media campaigns. Both sides present compelling but contradictory versions of events. The information war shapes global opinion and deepens divides. Allies rally to the US narrative. China's message resonates at home and with some wary of US power. The result, a polarized world, where compromise grows harder. The battle for hearts and minds is as fierce as the one at sea. The future of the South China Sea hangs in the balance. One path, escalation. A single miscalculation could trigger war between the US, China, and their allies, with catastrophic consequences. Another, gradual Chinese dominance. Relentless tactics could turn the sea into a Chinese lake, sidelining US influence and forcing neighbors to yield. The most hopeful path, diplomacy. Communication channels remain open. Both sides want to avoid war. A multilateral code of conduct or joint resource management could turn conflict zones into areas of cooperation, but this requires political will and compromise from all sides. The Scarborough Shoal standoff is a stark reminder of what's at stake. The world watches, hoping wisdom prevails over pride. The choice isn't just Washington or Beijing's, it will shape the 21st century. The hope, these turbulent waters become a bridge for peace, not a battlefield. The stakes, security, prosperity, and the future of Asia. The world holds its breath,